So every year, right, we look to CES to get a peek at what's coming. But CES 2026, man, it was something else. This wasn't just, oh, the chips are a little faster, or hey, look at this bigger screen. No, this year, it felt like the line between what's science fiction and what's actually real just evaporated. So let's dive in and figure out what that really means for us.
And this quote from an LG rep on the floor, it just absolutely hits the nail on the head. Welcome to science fiction. Future begins today. For years, we've all seen the cool concepts, right? The prototypes that are coming soon. But this year felt different. The stuff we saw wasn't just a small step forward. It felt like a giant leap into a totally new era.
And that right there, that's really the core theme of what we're going to talk about. These lines are just blurring all over the place. The space between us and our tech is getting smaller and smaller. We're talking about a world where our devices don't just react to us, they anticipate what we need. They get our emotions. They even share our physical space. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, it starts with the robots. Okay, first up, let's talk about the most obvious sign of this shift: humanoid robots. And I mean, they were everywhere at CES this year. But these aren't your grandfather's factory robots just putting a car door on. No way! They've evolved. They're becoming these super specialized tools, sometimes companions, and yeah, in some cases, even our new colleagues.
And what's so fascinating is that it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Not at all. You've got these completely different ideas about what a robot should be. So on one end of the spectrum, you've got the total powerhouse, Boston Dynamics Atlas, which is all about raw strength and industrial work. Then, somewhere in the middle, you have robotics, and they're focused on social skills, emotional intelligence for business. And then you've got Engine AI, making these friendly, approachable robots for things like retail. See? These aren't just different models. They're totally different philosophies on how robots are going to fit into our world.
So let's just focus on that strength for a second. 110 pounds. I mean, think about that. That's how much the new Atlas robot can lift, like instantly. We're not talking about a slow, careful lift. This is a fast, powerful move. It's handling the kind of weight that would absolutely wreck a person's back.
And that really gets to the heart of why it's so powerful. Boston Dynamics is super clear. Atlas is a tool. A seriously advanced one for sure, but its job is to do the stuff that humans just shouldn't be doing. The dull, dirty, dangerous jobs. I mean, think about it. This thing can work a 4-hour shift, swap its own battery out, and just keep on trucking in conditions that would be totally unsafe for a person. It's literally built for the environments that we aren't.
But hey, it's not all about brute strength. Robotics is going in a totally different direction. They're trying to integrate robots into our lives in a more social way. Their robots are being trained to understand human behavior, to actually recognize emotions. And get this, companies can customize everything: the robot's face, its voice, even its personality. And that's the key takeaway here, right? We're starting to build robots not just to work for us, but to work with us.
Okay, so seeing a robot lift a box or say hello is one thing. That's cool. But some of these machines, their physical abilities are getting, well, pretty intense. And that brings me to this one demonstration on the CES floor that was, let's just say, both fascinating and a little bit unnerving.
So this is the Unitree G1. And here's the thing. It doesn't just follow pre-programmed moves. It actually learns by watching professional fighters. So our team on the ground actually got to spar with it, and their feedback was pretty direct. The robot hits hard, it moves crazy fast, and the whole thing was, and I'm quoting here, kind of scary. It's a real physical reminder of just how fast that gap between human and machine capability is closing. All right, so we've got machines that can physically interact with our world in some pretty powerful ways. But what about when technology starts to change how we actually see the world? Well, that leads us right into our next big theme, augmented reality. And AR is finally moving beyond being just a niche gadget for tech nerds and becoming a genuinely useful tool.
And honestly, this right here might be the killer app that makes AR mainstream. The team got to test out the Even Realities glasses, and they said the demo was just mind-blowing. Just picture this. You're talking to someone who speaks a completely different language. And as they speak, you are seeing the English translation just pop up in real time, right there on the lens of your glasses. This isn't a movie prop anymore. Our team saw it. It was working, and it was working perfectly. I mean, that's the kind of thing that could totally change travel, business, everything.
And you can tell the market is really starting to mature because we're seeing specialization now. Just look at these two models from XR.
On the one hand, you've got the XR1S. That's your everyday workhorse, for productivity, watching movies. But then you have the R1, which they built with Asus ROG, and it has the world's first 240 Hz refresh rate in a pair of glasses. That's not just a small upgrade. That tells you the market is now big enough to have these super niche, high-end devices built specifically for competitive gamers.
But okay, what if you love your current glasses and don't want to buy a whole new smart pair? Well, that's where a company like Magitech comes in with a really clever idea. They've made this little device that just clips onto any pair of glasses. It's got a camera to see what you're looking at, a mic for your voice commands, and boom. It basically turns your favorite pair of glasses smart. It's such a brilliant way to get more people into AR without a huge commitment.
And that idea of making technology more accessible leads us right into our third big trend. AI is moving off our screens. It's becoming this constant, wearable companion. We're talking about AI that is always with you, always listening, and always ready to jump in and help.
The big buzzword for this is ambient AI. And really all it means is that the best computer interface is no interface at all. The idea is that instead of you having to poke and prod it at a device all day, the intelligence is just there. It's in the background, woven into your life, and the next few things we're going to look at are perfect examples of this in action.
Okay, so take the wearable chipper. It's this tiny little device you wear, and its whole job is to listen to your day. It summarizes your conversations and basically creates this searchable memory of your life. But honestly, the tech is only half the story. What makes it really stand out is its philosophy. It's open source, it has a huge app store, and this is the most important part. You get to decide which apps see your data. That's not just a nice little feature. It's a direct shot at the walled gardens and confusing data policies we've all gotten used to. And if you want to talk about the ultimate in seamless tech, you have to look at the new Pebble Index 01 Smart Ring. It's super simple. Its job is to let you capture a quick voice note or a reminder without even thinking about it. But the battery life, get this, is years. You literally never have to charge it. That is what ambient tech is all about. It's just there, and it just works.
So what's the ultimate wearable device? Maybe it's a car that you wear by sitting inside it. I'm talking about the Tensor Robocar. They're calling it the world's first personal, level 4, fully autonomous vehicle. And when you switch it to autonomous mode, the steering yoke literally disappears into the dash. It's packed with 37 cameras, it syncs with your calendar to know where you're going, it even projects messages on the road for pedestrians. It's not just a car, it's this personal, intelligent bubble that just takes you where you need to be. Okay, so we've looked at super strong robots, glasses that literally change how we see reality, and AI that we can wear. But what does it all mean when you put it together? Let's zoom out a bit and connect the dots on the big takeaways from this year's CES.
Really, it all seems to boil down to 4 big trends that are all tangled up with each other. First, you've got this huge jump in AI-powered autonomy, machines making their own decisions. Second, everything is getting hyper-personalized, with tech learning and adapting to you specifically. Third, computing is becoming ambient. It's just fading into the background of our lives. And finally, and this might be the biggest one, the way we interact with machines is just getting way more natural, way more human.
Look, there's no denying that the stuff at CES 2026 was just incredible. It's all pointing to a future that's more efficient, more connected, more helpful. But as all this tech starts to weave itself into the very fabric of our lives, it also forces us to ask some really big, important questions. And this isn't a conversation for someday, it's a conversation we need to have right now. Because if CES 2026 taught us anything, it's that the future, well, it isn't coming anymore, it's already here.